Ripley and Liv Morgan are now in the WrestleMania Tag Team Championship match. Jade Cargill slays this week with the Mortal Kombat inspired gear and the Kiss of Death. Both Mickie James and IInspiration shockingly loses their knockout championships, but Britt Baker shockingly retains her title. And did Chelsea Green really break her wrist again? Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell, this is DS and this is Women's Wrestling Weekly. Let's start with Raw. We got Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley versus Carmella and Zelina Vega, where if Liv and Rhea win the match, they will be added to the Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania. This was random. Just a random stipulation, no explanation. Some good actions here. Tornado DDT from Zelina Vega to Rhea Ripley was beautiful. Sometimes I forget Zelina used to be a full-time manager because she's been really good in the ring lately. And Carmella kicking Rhea into the steel stairs and then later to the ring post looked vicious. At the end of the match, Zelina tries to tag out to Carmella, but Carmella's too busy talking to her sexy fiancé Corey Graves. You know I love Carmella's comedic over-the-top stuff, but she was acting like she had no idea what was going on in the ring. That was kind of too unbelievable to me. Also, you're telling me that Rhea broke off from Nikki ASH to do her own thing, only to be back as a tag team with Liv Morgan? That makes absolutely no freaking sense. But I guess Liv and Rhea were probably like, girl, who gives a f***? Let's get the Mania check somehow. I don't know, not that Sasha and Naomi had the solid build into Mania or anything, but this all seems very random, so I'll just say, meh.
Good. Not bad!
I still want Sasha and Naomi to win, by the way. We got Dana Brooke versus Tamina 24/7 championship match. Dana Brooke looks really freaking good with this gear in her hometown in Cleveland. Tamina has a new theme song. Honestly, theme songs have been changing so much, I don't even know half the theme songs at this point. Before the match, we see Dana and Reggie and Tamina and Tozawa do good luck kisses. I don't know what's going on here. Is this some Cleveland thing? Am I missing something? I have no idea. The match was super short and it was like whatever. It sucked because I know both Dana and Tamina has more to offer in the ring. But at the end, Dana wins the match with Rolla. Post-match, Tozawa picks up a mic, says Tamina is the love of his life. Tamina ignores him and walks away, but then stops to blow a kiss. I don't know what the is going on. So confused! I'm just gonna say, I'm Confucius. I think I honestly liked it a lot more when Dana Brooke was like friend-zoning Reggie. By the way, I interviewed Dana Brooke last week, which was really fun. We had some really good conversations about Mandy Rose slipping in WrestleMania, her Money in the Bank MVP moments. It was really great conversation, so that will be up this week. Notable omissions from Raw was Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. It was reported that Becky is suffering from legitimate injury. She posted on Instagram that she has a fracture on her voice box. So that part is not confirmed yet if it's true or not. PWA Insider reported that Becky Lynch is expected to be out of action for around 2 weeks. I think we still could have had Bianca to continue the storyline without Becky Lynch somehow, either working with Nikki or Doudrop, but okay.
No, I made it here because I wanted to get my hands on Bianca Belair, and when she heard I was coming, she ran out of here. I asked around and they said she ran as fast as she possibly could. Didn't even take her bag.
Let's go to NXT as Women's Dusty Rose Tag Team Classic continues. Toxic Attraction is back at their lounge, but for some reason looking a little bit tired than before. So the first match is Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta versus Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu. And Wendy is so freaking over with the crowd. I don't know what her whole hair spot was, but I don't care. I love it. I love it. Also props to Wendy for keeping her slippers the whole match. That's some talent. I love this team of Wendy and Dakota so much. Dakota was talking to her imaginary friend when Wendy Chu was blind tagging her. That was so cute, but my favorite part was a sequence when Persia Pirotta slams Dakota Kai looking to finish the match, but Wendy Chu comes in for a save, giving her a friendly pep talk in the ring. And from there, their teamwork just levels up as Wendy Chu hits a huge Vader bomb on Persia, and then Dakota hits her double stomp to pick up the win. I love this match. Yes, it sucks that the established team of Indy and Persia took the loss over here to the makeshift team, but I love the storyline they're building between Dakota and Wendy, and I almost feel like I've never been this into Dakota and her character. And Indy and Persia also have their whole romance storyline that kind of explains why they were off the game in this match, so I'm satisfied. Next we saw Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez versus Yulisa Leon and Valentina Ferros, it was pretty clear that Raquel and Cora will be winning, and they did, but Yulisa and Valentina really impressed here, especially a sequence from Raquel's attitude adjustment to swift head scissors, and all the counters that followed were really cool. And when Valentina launches Yulisa into the air onto Raquel outside, that was everything. The crowd exploded during that, and yes, I think the adrenaline level went a little too high. The next couple of spots were a little bit off the mark, but they kept the high energy going, and at the end, Raquel hits a ginormous Chingo and a bomb on Valentina, and Raquel then plants Jade on top of her for the victory. Fun match, and it showcased every competitors in this match really well. I'm satisfied. We also got a singles match between Amari Miller and Lash Legend. Lash is upset about Amari ruining her NXT debut by losing the Dusty Classic match last week. Lash Legend towers over a lot of NXT women, including Amari Miller in this match. That makes her yet another powerhouse-style wrestler in NXT, but I'm not mad about it. She also has some unique movesets, like that rope move and the devastating fireman's carry slam finisher, so I think it really works, especially with her amazing character. Amari Miller continues to be super lovable and relatable. If given the right chance, I think she could be the next big star. After Lash Legends wins this match, she talks to the camera. This is how you do it, and she should get the focus, not Nikita Lyons, kind of out of nowhere. And after this, we get the video package showcasing all the social media craze about Nikita Lyons from last week's match, and then Nikita Lyons cuts a promo saying that she's down to sit down with Lash Legend for a lashing out interview session. Love that we're seeing the two internet darlings potentially clashing in a feud. This will be a really good one, but I do think the Lash Legend is going to eat Nikita up with the promo battle, but we will have to see. I'm satisfied. We also saw Tiffany Stratton talk to Saray about her necklace backstage. Tiffany says she thinks that necklace sucks, she can use one of her necklaces, but Saray says no, and Tiffany loses her shit saying that nobody says no to her. I'm letting you know, Tiffany, and everyone watching this, consent is sexy. Say it, consent is sexy. Also backstage, we see Ivy Niles training in Fury, then Tatum Paxley comes in to apologize for letting Ivy down. Ivy tells Tatum then to be serious if she wants to be part of Diamond Mine. Ivy looks badass with her whole like boxing punches, and I love how NXT 2.0 is building strong characters across the board. On AEW Dynamite, we saw a tag match, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez. This match was a setup for Revolution AEW Women's Championship match, and we will talk about that match later in the show. Thunder Rosa is so good in this. I loved when she got rid of the weave off the ring so fast, and I also love her pendulum surfboard submission on Jamie Hayter. Like, she's so creative, I love that. There was a moment where Mercedes Martinez and Jamie Hayter did their face-off, which crowd didn't really care for, and these are the moments when I kind of regret that AEW doesn't have a creative team. I wish Mercedes Martinez's Britt Baker mercenary storyline could have been extended more than just a week, so they could have really properly built the tension between Jamie and her as a Britt's second-in-charge position. But anyway, Jamie and Mercedes served their role in this match, but the highlight really was Thunder Rosa taking out Britt Baker with Emerald Flosion for the pin in an 8-minute match. I was satisfied. After this match, we saw Tay Conti getting interviewed about her martial arts background heading into her TBS Championship match at Revolution. Jade Cargill walks in to murder Tay with just one line.
Shut up before I kick you in the face again. Nobody gives a damn about that karate shit.
This is type of straight up shit talking that we deserve in wrestling. I love it so much. Jay's amazing. We got 3 matches on Impact Wrestling, the go-home show for Sacrifice. First was another Masha Slamovich squash match. Masha decimated another jobber by hitting a snowplow in 57 seconds, making 5-0 record now. I'm fully ready to see her first official feud, but so far, Impact has been doing a really good job to make her look really strong. We then see Madison Rayne versus Cassie Lee. This time, Influence marks a spot in the corner for Caleb with the K to stay, so you can't mess things up in this match. The Inspiration came in looking so fabulous in their red gear, and at the end of the match, Tenille tries to interfere in the match and Jessie tries to stop her, but instead she falls on Caleb where he catches her like they're in love or something. That catches everyone's attention, and using that distraction, Cassie hits a huge kick to the side of the head of Madison Rayne and connects that with her finisher now named InSpiral for the win. I came to accept that Caleb with the K will be the Helen of Troy of the storyline. After just accepting that, this was a solid feud for the pay-per-view. I'm satisfied. Next Next we see Chelsea Green versus Tasha Steelz #1 contendership match for a Sacrifice Knockouts Championship. We see Tasha play mind game with Mickie on the commentary, hitting Stratisfaction on Chelsea Green. Then by the end of the match, Tasha sends Chelsea to outside and distracts the referee, letting Savannah Evans to hit Chelsea with a huge big boot on the outside. Mickie tries to get involved to help Chelsea Green, but the commentators remind her that she promised not to get involved with this match, so she stops just to watch. Tasha then hits Chelsea with the top rope frog splash to win the match, an 8-minute competitive match. This was a solid match between the two amazing competitors. I fully thought we were gonna go with Chelsea Green versus Mickie James route for Sacrifice, where I sensed there would be a lot more interesting storyline potential there, but I was excited to see what they had in store for another Mickie versus Tasha Steelz match. And yes, we'll have more to talk about that in a Sacrifice recap part. But at this point, I was satisfied. Going to AEW Rampage, we see another segment between Jade Cargill and Tay Conti. Mark Sterling, Jade's manager, says he set up a no-contact clause between Tay and Cargill for 48 hours before the match, and then Anna Jay pops up reminding everyone that this is yet to be 40 hours before the match, which we see Tay Conti kicks Cargill in her face. But am I the only one that thought Jade Cargill's words were still a lot stronger than Conti's kicks?
Bitch, shut up before I kick you in the face again. Nobody gives a damn about that bitch and her little karate shit.
Jade ended you, girl, with one sentence. You could have done a lot more than just one kick, Tay. Next we see Professor Serena Deeb challenge, basically the challenge where the challenger should last Serena Deeb for more than 5 minutes. They don't even have to win the match. So Layla Gray, the competitor here, tried to outsmart the system by like running out of the ring to buy time, but eventually she got caught quite quickly actually. Serena then finishes her in less than a minute with the front choke. After the match, she puts Serenity Lock to continue the punishment, but then Hikaru Shida returns and destroys Deep with kendo stick. It was really good to see Hikaru Shida, but I did think her vacation could have been a little longer. She left less than 2 months ago to be back home in Japan, and I think Serena Deeb was just catching steam with her whole Professor Challenge situation, and it could have had a couple more feuds before coming back to the blood feud with Shida. That said, I love that AEW is really improving a lot with their women's division. They're giving a lot more women characters and feuds, but now I kind of want them to sit back a little bit. No need to rush everything and sometimes just let things brew. I think both Mercedes Martinez storyline with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa and this return of Shida was really rushed, but again, I can never say I'm mad about seeing Shida on my TV, so I'll say it's good.
Good? Not bad!
WWE SmackDown time, we get Naomi versus Carmella to build for the WrestleMania Tag Team Championship match. I think this will be the feud of the looks because Naomi and Sasha look so freaking adorable in the matching look. I gasped so hard when I saw them. And then Zelina and Carmella also served a beautiful matching pink gears. And I love how over the top Carmella is with that ugly ass mask and just screaming when Naomi was about to slap her. Naomi. Side note, why was Natty watching the TV monitor through this match? Is Divas of Doom coming to WrestleMania 2? Is she bringing another tag team partner? That is a question to be asked. At the end of the match, Sasha violently takes out Zelina, who were trying to interfere with the meteor to the steel steps, and Naomi wins the match in 2 minutes with the split-legged moonsault. I am very satisfied. For the main event, we got Ronda Rousey versus Sonya Deville. Sonya looked really great in the new gear and the cute headband of sorts. Before Ronda came out, the announcer had this long announcement for Ronda Rousey about how she won the Royal Rumble and this is her first SmackDown match. I don't know, it feels like a bit too much of a try-hard. Like, this works when they do it ironically for Eva Marie. It seems forced that WWE is trying so hard from last week to this week to tell us how amazing Ronda Rousey is over and over again without necessarily showing us. Charlotte then comes out to join the commentary and she looked so great here. This match I expected to be very one-sided, but surprisingly Sonya was able to get a lot of offense in thanks to Charlotte's distraction and Ronda's weak knee. Eventually Ronda hit Sonya with the Piper's Pit and then armbar to finish Deville in 3 minutes. I thought it was kind of weird to see Ronda struggle so much to win a match with Sonya. I mean, I don't want her to bury the whole division like before, but there was something special about Ronda Rousey being so badass and unstoppable. And for her to struggle even with Sonya Deville in this match seemed to make her like any other competitors we have in WWE. Like Serena Deeb, Masha, and Deonna Purrazzo with the whole open challenge, I think are currently booked stronger than Ronda Rousey right now. Post-match, Ronda Rousey calls Charlotte into the ring. Throughout the match, Charlotte has been calling Ronda a one-trick pony, and to that Ronda surprises Charlotte with an ankle lock to end the show. That was kind of a fun layer to the feud, so I am satisfied. Alright, let's move to pay-per-views. So Saturday we saw Impact Wrestling Sacrifice, and we had 4 women's matches. So for the pre-show we got Giselle Shaw versus Lady Frost. The quintessential diva was great. Her entrance was cool, some of the moves like twisting Vader Bomb was really awesome. Her facial expression was really on point. But what stands out to me the most after this match is how impressive Lady Frost was. Every move the Lady Frost did looked so effortless and just so clean. At the end, we saw Giselle block Lady Frost's moonsault attempt and hits a huge draping DDT. And then Lady Frost tries another moonsault. Giselle blocks it again, setting up for a back superplex, but Frost fights it off and hits a beautiful moonsault to finish the match. Love Lady Frost so much. It's just so pleasant to see her go in the ring. I'm ready to stand her even harder by learning more about her character because, yeah, Ice Queen gimmick is great, but this isn't indie scene anymore. It's weekly television, so we need a lot more character depth and motivation to be behind someone. So let's start delving into that. But so far, I'm very satisfied. Next, we got Impact's Knockout World Tag Team Championship, the IInspiration versus the Influence. Before the match, we see backstage, Tenille and Madison tell Caleb with the K to stay there. Now, when Cassie and Jesse came out, they were sporting some Britney Spears realness. It was amazing. They seem to be having a lot of fun with their fashion, which is really awesome to watch. This match was really fun. I'll almost even say this was Tenille's best matches in Impact. You can see Tenille had great chemistry with Jesse and Cassie because they had their long-lasting friendship, and while her moves are more grounded as always, the chemistry and pacing made things really interesting in this match. It was also great to see Inspiration bust out some great tag moves like the sick knee, and at the end we saw Caleb with the K come out despite the orders from the Influence. Caleb slides one of the tag belts into the ring where Tenille picks it up and hits Cassie with it while the referee is distracted, winning the match, becoming the new tag team champion. I was really surprised that this was Tenille's first major wrestling championship win in her career, so congratulations to Tenille and Madison Rayne. I would say this was a shocking loss from Inspiration. I did not expect them to lose to Madison and Tenille. That's sad. I always think winning the title on the first night, which happened to likes of Paige, Gail Kim, and Inspiration and Impact, doesn't always pan out the best because the saying is the money is in the chase. Inspiration did really well as champions for a bit, but I think this time chasing will allow to see even more from Cassie and Jesse. Also, other layer to the story is that it's not clear if Caleb actually tossed the title to Tenille or to Cassie. So even though I don't necessarily want him to be the focus again, I think there's a chance that we might go with who is Caleb with the K actually loyal to storyline. Overall, I am very satisfied. Next, we see Champ Challenge by Deonna Purrazzo. This time, one of her real-life best friend, Chelsea Green, challenges her for the ROH Women's Championship. The chemistry between them was on fire as they knew each other so well. The main story of this match was Deonna going for Chelsea's weak arm where she got her wrist injury. And at the end, we see Chelsea putting Deonna in the armbar of her own. Deonna grabs the rope to get out and then hits a devastating move on the weak wrist of Green, injuring her. We see referee stopping the match and even throwing the X sign. Deonna then comes in to check on our friend Chelsea, but Chelsea Green shoves Deonna away, which leads Deonna to be evil and locks an armbar on Chelsea even more. We then see Chelsea's best friend and Impact Knockouts champion Mickie James come out to check on her, and as she's doing that, we see Tasha Steelz make her entrance, starting the championship match while Chelsea is still at the ringside getting the medical attention. Tasha attacks while Mickie is looking at Chelsea, and then referee rings the bell so the match starts. We see Mickie obviously distracted from the whole Chelsea Green situation, and by the way, she looked really cool with the Liza Minnelli style outfit of the ring gear. Later in this match, we even see Savannah Evans go after Chelsea Green, so Mickie breaks the action to help Chelsea outside. Tasha then hits Mickie with a tope dive outside and sends Mickie into the steel steps as Chelsea is finally dragged away by the official. This match gets really intense as Mickie gets her mind back to the gold. Tasha tries to hit Stratisfaction on Mickie, but it gets blocked, and Mickie hits Flapjack on Tasha and goes onto the top rope, but Savannah interferes. Mickie kicks her off and dives to Tasha, but it gave enough time for Tasha to reverse it into a huge cutter, and then she pins Mickie James to become the new Knockouts champion. This was the result that I did not expect at all. So props to Impact Wrestling for delivering multiple big surprises in one night. Obviously, huge night for Tasha Steelz, but I wouldn't say yet that this is a star-making moment for her, but I think this will be one of the important building bridges. From when Tasha first joined Impact Wrestling to now, she grew so much as a performer and entertainer, and with both Ultimate X Match win and the title, it is now her time to run with the ball. So we now know she can go in the ring. She got strong promo, so it's now her time to show the world if she got the X factor to be the star. So hopefully that's something we'll see in her reign. As for Mickie, I'm sure we'll continue to see her develop the whole storyline with Chelsea Green. They're really building it nicely, and that storyline obviously worked really well in this match too. Speaking of Chelsea, I think Chelsea and Impact Wrestling did a magnificent job selling this injury. Even Dana Brooke on Twitter was confused. I am like 90% sure this is work, but Chelsea did post a photo of X-ray on social media. I think it just works too perfectly with everything that it has to be work, but at the same time we all know Chelsea has history of injuries, so fingers crossed on that. Overall, I'm so stoked about what's going to happen with Impact's Knockout division and Mickie, Tasha, and Chelsea. Really exciting stuff. I'm very satisfied. Let's move to Sunday's AEW Revolution. Pre-show match was grudge match between Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander. Both of them are incredible wrestlers and they came in with a lot of intensity. Some of the spots that stood out for me, love the back and forth punches and then the swift backbreaker to Layla Hirsch. Her Karana from the apron to outside got holy shit chant from the crowd, and that huge second rope electric chair face plant and Michinoku driver was everything, and I was surprised that the match did not stop there. And Layla kicked out of it. She then rolls outside and hits Chris's head with the spare turnbuckle while the referee was distracted doing something. And she picks up the victory with an impressive moonsault. This was a really great match, and the story that they built helped me get invested even more into this match. Chris Statlander, I'll say, is already such a star in AEW, so maybe it is a good decision to give Layla this win to push her into the next level. I'm very satisfied. Next, we got TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Tay Conti, and Jade Cargill came in wearing Mortal Kombat Jade's outfit, and she looked so freaking good. She continues to look and feel like a freaking money. Tay also had an intense makeup on her face, which intensified her already big facial expressions throughout the match, which I loved. To start off the match, Jade kissed Tay on her lips this time, almost a homage to Lita's kiss of death to Trish Stratus. I also felt Jade is very smart with her character, from using the internet troll comments to go full green hair and green gear, and she also doubled down on people loving her nobody gives a shit about karate by doing a full mockery of it in this match. She's also just so badass. I popped so hard when she kicked Anna Jay standing outside for absolutely no reason. Tay and Anna also brought some really good fight here. Conti's top rope flip dive to outside looked really stiff, and Anna Jay interfering with the steel chair shot from outside was awesome. I thought this was a perfect amount of interference, unlike the following match. And the huge pile driver from Tay Conti was amazing. But the sad thing is, everybody watching this match knew that Tay wasn't going to pick up the win, even though she really pushed Jade to the limit, and that really showed through crowd's reaction. I really enjoyed the match, and Jade is showing tremendous improvement, adding more moves to her arsenal like Frog Splash and Eye of the Storm. Tay also grew into a reliable worker in AEW, which I'm so proud of. So I'm very satisfied. One side note, Paige Van Zandt, the UFC fighter who was previously feuding with Brandy Rhodes, was watching this match in the audience. I wonder if she'll be the next one to feud with Jade? Pretty intriguing. Lastly, we had AEW Women's Championship match, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, and they introduced a new AEW Women's title design which looks a lot bigger and I think looks a lot cooler than before. I honestly think they should have made a bigger deal about this, but let's go on to the match. This was following the dog collar BDSM CM Punk match, so it was already kind of in a tough spot with the crowd. This was a 17-minute long match, but what stands out to me after the match is just how freaking annoying all the interference was from Jamie and Rebel. It was just way too much. We're in the deep end of Britt's title reign, where we've seen the same interfering shit for so long. And storyline wise, we finally got Mercedes Martinez on Thunder Rosa's side to even out the number, but no, Mercedes was nowhere to be seen, which just boggles my mind that makes this whole weeks of storyline useless. Yes, it was satisfying when Thunder Rosa speared the heck out of Rebel to the outside after her interfering for like 5-6 times, but it was just ridiculous. At the end, when Thunder Rosa came back from the spear, Britt hits a huge stomp to win the match. I was not a fan of this match. Britt's reign has been overdrawn with, at this point, nothing new to offer. And to clarify, I do not have issue with the long championship reign. But in order for that to work, there should be storyline or character progression. That just wasn't the case here. My only guess is that they are waiting to give Thunder Rosa the title reign in San Antonio show happening in a couple weeks. So let's just cross our fingers for that, because for this, I'll say, girl,
Girl.
Wow, so that was this week's Women's Wrestling Review. That was a lot of women's wrestling this week. Also, Moxie Molly was laid off on her second week because NWA Power had no women's action or segment this week. Sorry, Moxie. But let us know what you thought of everything that went down, and look out for our interview with Dana Brooke dropping this week. I posted the NBC version of that already yesterday, so they'll be coming out this week. And come follow me on social media, DSShin on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter, and I will see you next week. Bye!